Yep. They'll find somebody to sell them what they want.
Yeah, they will. They will.
Right. And now with the free quote process, there's not only is there documentation through the visit, but ultimately what our hope is with the report is to review all of the things in the visit. You know, so right now we have the questionnaire, and that needs to go to the report. The answers need to go to the report. And then step 2 is the 6 functions video, and the report needs to review the 6 functions. And then after you review the 6 functions in here, there needs to be kind of a summary of discussion box, because if interesting conversation comes up after this, you want to make notes of the conversation, like the lady saying, you know, $2,500 is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Right.
Or, you know, for good load matching. And then likely load range. The way this, like, I'm hoping by having it in this order is if you get any problems here, you can tie those problems to the functions that are dysfunctional.
Can't hear you, Ted.
Dysfunctional functions.
The dysfunctional functions. Is it? You can hear me, Ken? Tanner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So,
I can't hear you. There he is.
I think, Reedie, your connection might be a little slow.
No, I
You were
can hear
out
you.
on. Oh, okay. So by connecting the 6 functions to the four questions quiz problems, you can get them understanding the functions that they need to help solve their problems up there. And then you tie the 6 functions to the likely load range, as we were just talking about, you know, load matching and mixing. You know, and that'll help them understand lean towards the green. And then the next step is going to be static, and we'll have static last. And there are a couple of reasons you know, in discussing with you guys that we sort of arrived at the static last. One of the reasons is it'll tie back to leaning towards the green, particularly if they measure it and they're above 0.5. Then it's like, this is another reason we encourage people to lean towards the green, because if your static's wrong and you put new equipment in the yellow or the red, you may find yourself needing to spend $10,000 to $12,000 improving or replacing your ductwork. And then even then, what we find is if people have the wrong equipment, even if it matches the ductwork, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have comfort. And we, in past videos, Ronnie's talked about how they used to do duct analysis, replace ductwork, and then have angry customers because the expectation of the outcome of the ductwork was more than just having low static pressure. The homeowner. So, and then we'll step to the installation choices with the smiley faces, so that they can help, that we can help get them understanding some of the installation options and how they connect back to the 6 functions. And then, I guess I didn't get to the point where I put the equipment choices, but next would be equipment choices. And then in the report, we're going to need to do the same thing, I think, that we do with the comfort consult. It's going to need to have kind of a summary and observations. And it's not necessarily going to be recommendations, because it's building their ideal specification. But I think we're going to also have their ideal specification. And I'm not really sure how we get from here to picking their ideal specification. I think Eric has some ideas. Like maybe there will be a 5th column that ends up dropping down below in the report taking up the whole page instead of in a chart form.
Mhm.
So that's what I've been working through on this document, and I think the free quote's going to be kind of a thank you. The report is going to be a thank you for inviting us out. And then it's going to punctuate all of the aspects of responsibly avoiding responsibility that is so familiar to all of us from the Comfort Consult, but is not familiar to the new salesperson coming on that doesn't understand the Comfort Consult. So we need to give the new salesperson that same feeling that you got, Reedie, when you started using the Comfort Consult, which I think is one of not having to look in the rearview mirror or feel responsibility for the decisions as homeowners.
Yeah, that's right.
So anybody have any thoughts on this? Sorry to take over and interrupt your telling us your
No.
your sales stories.
I just wanted, if you'll go back up where, you were talking about the ideal specification. Go down. I'm sorry. It's at the install choices.
Yes.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is there, and then we would put equipment below it, and then we would put your ideal specification. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So it's going to show the install choices so that they know they remember the choices that they picked from.
Right.
And then it's going to help them show the equipment choices, and equipment choices come next because their ideal specification is going to fit their budget. And
Right.
so their ideal choice and well, their preferred choice and their ideal specification are going to be probably two different things. Because I mean, if you're selling Carrier stuff, everybody wants a green speed. There are lots of situations where they're going to go with a 5-stage, and maybe they don't have the electric panel for the backup heat, and they definitely are going to need a lot of backup heat, or whatever it is, the situation is. Their ideal specification is probably not going to always be the best of everything because it's got to match budget. And
Yeah.
we should talk about how we help them with the budget exercise. Reedie, what's your experience with helping people with a budget exercise on free quote?
Yeah. Some people are cagey about that. Some people are not cagey about that. We offer financing for every job, and it's 0%. There's no difference, cash, check, or credit. Usually what they'll do is they'll go with what they can afford. I ask them up front. Sometimes they tell me and sometimes they don't.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. I think we're going to have to find a way to actually get,
or
and
maybe
put
with
it
budget
on-
range, maybe with budget range on these two things, I don't know, it'd be nice if there was a calculator that helped them understand rough range of the things they're choosing so that they can prioritize and remove things that don't hit the priority list, or maybe remove things that can be done later, because some of these things, once you've done it, you can't undo it, not cheaply. And other things you can add later, right?
Right. I'm just trying to think of a way. There'd have to be some sort of a calculator or something to tie all that together without making it a proposal.
Right.
And
It would have to be a range.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing right here generally is sort of a rough numbers. because you need to get to range in order for them to get to their ideal specification, because,
Yeah.
otherwise it's a dartboard.
And using ranges to help them, it's be a little
Funnel
bit easier of a method of getting them to kind of go, okay, here's what I'm looking for. If you go, this one it costs this exactly. Is this what you want? They're going to be a little bit more hesitant to where if it's like, okay, here's the ranges we're looking at. Which one are you feeling? It's going to be easier to say, okay, well, I'm kind of feeling like this one, when you're just looking at a range. And then when they put together their ideal specification, I would imagine what I'll probably end up doing is then be like, okay, well, are you ready? Like, are you looking to make a decision right now? Would you like me to go out, get this quote put together real fast, and then come back and show you what I got? Or are you wanting to think about this, and we're just going to retouch later when I get you that exact number?
I think what
Can
you've
we-
said to me in the past, Reedie, is sometimes people have picked the 5-stage, and then later on they're like, oh, well, I do want that fresh air and that big drop with the great filtration.
Right.
So then they've had to go back and go with the crossover because their install choices blew their budget on the 5-stage. So one of the reasons we've done install choices up front is so that people can get to their install choices, and then when they get to the next step,